Semi-suburbs? You're definitely going to want to listen into our next guest just to understand exactly what we're talking about. Please welcome back the champ, Elizabeth Story.
There she is. Champ is here in her purple.
Woo!
That's exactly what we were hoping for today. So Champ, tell me, now this, a lot of people are concerned that the real estate market in San Diego has been going too high, too quickly, that it's this bubble that's waiting to burst. You're more optimistic about it than that. You think that this is a train that you better get on or get off the tracks.
Yes.
Why are you so optimistic about San Diego?
Because look at San Diego as a whole, and I work several parts around the county, which has been allowing me to keep up with several parts of the county. And as a whole, there's just nothing but good things going on. There's all this development, there's all this change, and all of it is good. We talked about the Seaport Village expansion. It's 40 acres of the Embarcadero district downtown that's being proposed for the next 2 years. We got the Whole Foods and Ritz-Carlton approved. There's the whole Stadium Convention Center measure on the ballot. We've got the high-speed train that's being approved. We've got new construction in Carlsbad. We've got new construction in Carmel Valley. We've got new construction in Del Mar. We've got new construction in a lot of different places. Mission Valley has had a huge build out. And so I see nothing but improvements in infrastructure and developing and a lot of more infill development too. So revitalizing neighborhoods. We've got Barrio Logan that's being constantly revitalized. There's all these new shops and restaurants, and it's near the transportation. And these are all good things to help an interconnected community and economy.
Yeah, it's funny because there are still areas like Barrio Logan where you would think, if you haven't been there in a couple years, what you think it is not what it is today.
Oh, it's changed so much.
Rapidly changing, which is that's a sign to me that, okay, there are no more slums, if you will. There's no places where you can look and go, oh, there's super cheap property there, but it's a little sketchy. Like, there's very little of that exists still. And in certain places like the North Parks, the South Parks, the Metro area, where there used to be some of that, there's $1 million houses there now.
Right.
That's what's happening. So I get it from that standpoint, from looking at it from, okay, well, we have all these things going on, all this stuff is going to happen, but what about the next generation of people? Because they're the ones who scare me. Like, the baby boomers have money, they saved, they're upgrading, or they're empty nesting and they're downsizing and then traveling, whatever. They're cool. But what about millennials and people who have student loan debt and don't have great jobs? What are they looking for, and how is the San Diego market going to give them what it is that they need in order to be excited about real estate?
Well, and we always thought there's been this misconception that the millennials want to live downtown, but really what it is they want to live somewhere walkable. But they're into communities too. So what we're really finding is, and it's helping spur this revitalization, is these mini suburbs. So areas like, and I like to use North Park as an example. If you look at North Park 10 years ago compared to North Park now, it has grown, it's been revitalized, it's got a lot of more shops and restaurants, and property values have gone up. And I continue to see that going on. Again, Barrio Logan, you're starting to see now it's trendy, it's hip, there's art galleries opening, there's breweries opening, there's restaurants opening, and you're gonna see a lot of millennials flocking to areas like that as well, because it's so close to downtown San Diego. And if the stadium proposal does go through, it's just going to continue pushing all of that real estate east. And historically, that's kind of been a little bit of the problem that we've had in San Diego, is that, everybody wants to live along the water. But as you continue to start making it more interconnected and more developed going further east, I just plan to see a lot more revitalization of all those easterly neighborhoods and continue to see property values go up.
So maybe what the millennials should do right now, if they were really smart, is maybe go try to find one of those properties over there to buy today.
Yes.
That would be a really good idea.
100%. And they can call me too, because,
You talk millennial.
I sell real estate.
She's definitely hip enough to be your realtor, that's for sure. So you said mini suburbs, you said?
Yeah, I think it's mini suburbs.
Semi-suburbs? It's okay if we're playful.
Okay. Yeah.
They will like it. So the semi-suburb reference, or the mini-suburb reference.
Whatever you want to call it.
Whatever you want to call it. Not the real suburbs, because the real suburbs are far away.
Yeah, those are far.
You have to drive a long ways.
scary.
And there's cul-de-sacs, and there's families and neighbors that look at you like this all the time. And in the semi-suburbs, you don't have as much of that.
Not nearly as much.
This isn't just millennials that want that, though. This seems to be what everybody wants.
Well, even like retirees. I see a lot of people who everybody wants walkable. They want hip, they want happening, they want to be able to go to a coffee shop or a restaurant or just enjoy the beautiful weather that we always have, but make it walkable so that they don't have to leave as much. And so that's another thing we're noticing is we're becoming less dependent on having so many vehicles, which is definitely good because, as we continue to develop, congestion and traffic will become an issue. But the economy sharing of like Uber and ride sharing applications has also made it a much more connected community because you can get up and down the coastline so much less expensive and easier and safer that people aren't feeling like they can't just leave their walkable neighborhood. So yes, they can find a cool walkable neighborhood, but they can also get out of it, which opens up so many possibilities.
Uber's so cheap.
It's so cheap.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can go from Del Mar to like North Park. Like I said the other day, I was hanging out there for the first time ever, and it was like $20.
Yeah.
$20.63 or something like that. I could not believe it. So that is so much less than a cab was. And I feel like an old man when I'm telling people, when I used to have to take cabs.
Yeah.
But they're terrible. Here's the thing that I think is, you talked last time you were on the show, and it's getting a lot of activity right now on social media about the hottest property for 2017. Hottest property type, hottest properties, and what those are going to look like. And those sort of multifamily potential Airbnb style units are going to be the hottest properties. And I think you're absolutely right about that. I think also what we're going to see happen, and maybe it's not 17, maybe it's 18, but it's coming as the traffic gets worse, which is just going to continue to happen. All of these type of walkable neighborhoods you're talking about, these semi-suburbs, are going to have even greater increases in demand.
Correct.
Because of the fact that people are not going to want to get back in the car. If they're going to drive to and from work, that's going to be it.
Right.
And they don't want to drive anymore. And a lot of people are not going to want to even do that. I don't want to do that. So I think most people don't want to, but they'll have to in some cases, but they're going to want to be able to come home, park the car, and be done driving.
Yeah.
And so that's also a potential, maybe not a type, but a sort of a region that I think we can expect to continue to grow in value as well because of the convenience factor, and people don't have time to drive any more than they already are.
Right. Well, it's one of the reasons why downtown has and continues to be so desirable for certain types of people, not just because of the views, but because there's so much transportation. There's the trolley station, there's the coaster, you're close to the airport. They don't have to drive after they're done driving. They can walk or they can get on public transportation. So not just neighborhoods that are walkable, but also neighborhoods, again, that are close to infrastructure and transportation. That plays a huge role in where people go and live and work because of the ease of getting where they need to go.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that a lot of people are trying to figure that out right now. They're trying to buy homes closer to their jobs and stuff like that. They're trying to live in proximity so that the travel time isn't so bad.
Yes.
Anymore. And what'll be real interesting to see is because a lot of those areas we're talking about, metro especially, the semi-suburbs, there isn't a ton of industry down there. Like you don't have big companies and skyscrapers there with like 3,000 jobs. Don't have any of that yet. But wait until you do. Like East Village, for example, you have Simper down there now.
Yeah.
That's a slow game changer as people are realizing that they're driving from San Marcos to downtown every day, and they go, if I lived right there, I could get rid of my car.
Yes.
Literally.
And the expense of it.
Yeah.
The expense of gas, because that's another thing. Like people used to buy in like Temecula or North County to save money because the housing was cheaper, but then they're spending so much money on gas and car and time that it becomes a wash.
Thank you for bringing that up, please. Please and thank you for bringing that up because I keep having people say, oh yeah, I'm going to look in Temecula, I'm going to look in Marietta because I can't afford here. Like, what?
Why?
No. How much is your time worth, for God's sake? And not to mention, it's not that much cheaper.
It's not.
Just period.
It's not that much cheaper. It really isn't. And again, like you have to sit down and do the math. Like, okay, how many gallons of gas I'm going to use? How much is it going to cost me per month? How much is my maintenance going to cost? And when you add that all up, I mean, it could be $500, $600, $700 a month. And when you apply that towards the purchase price of a house, you would be shocked that it might actually be more expensive to buy in that far off place where you're spending 2-3 hours a day in traffic than if you just bought somewhere you wanted to live
It's just
anyway.
no way to live, man.
It's no way to live.
Not in a car like that.
That's why I sold my house in Carlsbad.
Nothing against Carlsbad.
I love Carlsbad. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
But my
But it's
whole life
way up
wasn't there,
It's
you
way
know,
up there.
and so I needed to live somewhere that was more conducive to my whole life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's way up there. I mean, yeah, Carlsbad's far.
it is far.
It's far. I live in Del Mar, and Carlsbad's far.
I'm sorry, my Carlsbad people.
Nothing wrong with Carlsbad. Love Carlsbad. Love Mr. Carlsbad. But it's far. If your world is downtown, if your world's Mission Valley, I mean, like I said, even where I am in Del Mar, it takes me a while to get to Carlsbad.
Yeah.
So, like, it's far. And but there's industry in Carlsbad, though.
There is. Oh, in the airport, and that's
In
something.
the airport.
I want to talk a little bit about that too, because so you've got the whole Carlsbad airport plan that's in the works, and then the Tijuana airport just expanded.
Right.
So now you have 2 more ways to get in and out of San Diego. So again, the face of San Diego, if you start talking about it as a whole, it's all development, it's all new, it's all progress.
Yeah, that's very, very true, because it's not just SAN, San Diego International, and John Wayne. Like, those were your 2 options,
Yeah.
like, for a long time. But there's a lot more flights coming out of Palomar, and they're going to start bringing in even more flights out of Palomar. Plus, that Tijuana airport, by the way, I've heard, especially for international flights, that is the spot
That's what I
to
heard.
fly out of.
That's
Like,
what I heard.
Insanely, ridiculously inexpensive.
And you can just walk right across now.
You walk into it.
And I mean, it's so much easier, and you should save a ton of money. So, I mean, these again, I mean, how could we not? And I've talked about this 100 times. I'll say it one more time. In these past years, I've watched what people are buying and how they're buying it. They're putting down huge down payments. They're well qualified, and they're invested. That doesn't create a bubble. That creates a community.
Yeah, very well said. Elizabeth Story, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it. You are amazing. The champ, ladies and gentlemen, Elizabeth Story. Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else. Commercial free.